live-ish at the moment. Hold on. We are live everywhere now. What's up, world? How are you doing? How's everyone living today? So I know the past two were just tests, so this one I thought I'd actually go into some topic that I actually want to talk about, cover, get into, explore. So I'm a dad. You know, I have a son who's 3 years old now. He's going on 4. And you know, I'm muted. I should turn off my chat. Sorry, everybody. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. But as a dad now, I'm looking at a lot of things differently. And especially when it comes to, you know, material that's geared towards young men. Now, today's topic, who is Andrew Tate? We're going to get into that. But to start a little bit is to talk about what movement he stands with, or at least that's what he's been associated with, and that's called the Red Pill movement. And I do want to get more into that, because this Red Pill thing is definitely geared towards men. It's definitely geared and I would say attempting to stand for men's rights in a way, objectively speaking. So these guys, I mean, they hustle. I'll give them that. Like they definitely put out their content. They definitely you know, stand for their beliefs, whatever they might be, whether you agree with them or not. They, you know, they do have some points I think as a man can be considered, you know, good things to follow in a sense. You know, they like to present like, you know, men need to better themselves. We need to get, you know, status, education, wealth, you know, build yourself, build your character, build your brand, so to speak, whatever people want to reference it as these days. So in that I get, you know, that definitely is a good thing and a positive message, but then the way they go about it is one thing I always seem to find a problem with, because in some of these discussions you can kind of see the language that they use, and it's in my opinion not healthy. So, you know, I know I'm being a little long-winded with this intro, but with that being a dad and considering all those things, I want to try and put out things that hopefully he might see in the future, or, you know, maybe some other kids out there who are finding these red pill videos can kind of get some balance, because yeah, they might make things that sound good and make sense and you're gonna agree with, but that doesn't mean you have to wholeheartedly sign in and be all about it 100%. You know, you can disagree with some of those things, and so some guys blindly follow, and I do mean blindly, because they'll also put a blind eye towards some of the things these guys do or say. And so that brings me to why I wanted to start with Andrew Tate. So Andrew Tate seems to be like the figurehead for these red pill guys. He's an ex, you know, MMA fighter. He's amassed quite a bit of wealth between him and his brother due to them starting a online sex chat thing, and they would also do like boot camps. I can't remember exactly what they would call them, but basically like men building boot camps. So come here, we'll teach you what to do type thing, and give us hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars to do it. So although he's not the only one, he's definitely not the only one in these red pill spaces, but he's definitely a person that causes a lot of echo points. Oh, excuse me. A bunch of echo points amongst the others who cover red pill topics. So with that in mind, we're gonna jump into a couple Vice videos and see, you know, just kind of like a history of Andrew Tate, because I'm not too familiar with who he is, so this is going to be a learning experience for me as well. And we'll just kind of like go from there. Like I said, I do agree with some things these people say, and I do want to try and approach things objectively and try to reach the middle ground on things. I'm not trying to say I'm one way or the other. Oh, excuse me. Me personally, I've never liked the idea of having to have bipartisan discussions. Like, why does it always have to be one side and then the other side? Why do I have to try and win this argument? I can also listen to your argument and disagree with it, but you know, I don't have to sit there and try and make you switch to my thoughts and way of thinking. So let's jump into this this first documentary, so to speak, titled "The Dangerous Rise of Andrew Tate." Check it out on the Vice channel. Obviously we're going to be watching it here, but you know, definitely go send your support there. Vice is very good about putting, you know, some decent discussions and research topics out, and I do like some of their news just for their perspective and how they interview people. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what's up with the boy Tate,
who you've never heard of before, all of a sudden appear everywhere. Andrew Tate is an Anglo-American kickboxer turned influencer whose extreme misogynist videos have helped make him the most viral man in the world.
Bang out the machete, boom in her face, then grip her up by the neck. Like, shut up, bitch!
On December 29th,
ladies, does that sound like a good night to you? I mean, okay.
He and his brother were arrested by Romanian police as part of a rape and human trafficking investigation.
The Matrix has attacked.
A few months before their arrest, I was in Romania trying to get access to their so-called secret society, the War Room.
The War Room is the most powerful network on the face of the planet today.
Andrew Tate.
To get inside, I had
See, this is alright. I know this is already just the intro, but this is something like a common thing I see in some of these red pill spaces. Like, you notice how he calls it the War Room? Like, bro, you're not in war. You're just a regular guy hustling, trying to make some money. Like, the War Room. A lot of these guys in the red pill, and I mean, you can hear it in its name, red pill, like they try to like make really, I think, nerdy references to things to kind of like make it sound cool, because that's what guys do, I guess. I don't know, that's just funny to me.
agreed to endure a professional cage fight in Romania.
I know he's gonna lose, but wow, he's actually in there.
Along with 100 Tate superfans.
We shouldn't be slaves. We shouldn't be working 9-to-5 jobs.
I need to grow. I need to get better. I need to evolve.
I'm not tough on myself. Nobody else will be. That's what I learned from Andrew Tate.
This shiny hole.
That's what I learned.
What I found out
My plan was to sow anarchy.
is that this recent arrest appears to be just the tip of the iceberg.
This is definitely a hit piece.
I don't care.
The real story
We clearly conquered the internet.
began years ago.
There's not a single female complaining on the planet.
Do you think there's not a single female complaining?
Have you seen one? Tell me.
My ex-boyfriend
Bro, have you not met a female? Every single one of them complained. What the fucks you mean, bruh?
was radicalized by Andrew Tate. He was sweet and I guess vulnerable to being brainwashed by Andrew Tate and his cult.
People don't know what he's done.
Sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it?
If you haven't heard of Andrew Tate yet, it's only a matter of time before he pops up on your newsfeed.
Rather
His videos have been
dreadful.
viewed over 11 billion times, and in July he was more Googled than Kim Kardashian and Donald Trump. He's been called the king of toxic masculinity.
Bro, think about that for a second. More Google than Kim Kardashian? Good God, bro. Like, that's like, and this is the same woman who quote unquote broke the internet. Like, think
He
about
said that
that.
rape
Like, that's how
victims
viral
should
this man
quote
went
bear
for
responsibility
some radical
for being
thinking.
raped.
We're about to enter his compound in Romania, which was raided earlier this year as part of the rape and human trafficking investigation that led to his arrest in 2022.
Is that true that you sequestered an American girl?
She's not even pretty. This girl's average. She's ugly. I don't have time for this bullshit.
What about the rape accusation?
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I know that's disrespectful to laugh, but like, yo, she literally asked him like about this girl that you allegedly took, and he's gonna talk about that chick. She's just average. The fuck? Oh my God, that is so wild.
Hello, is this Andrew Tate's
Jesus.
house? I'm Matt.
Okay.
Hey, hello.
Just a second to have a confirmation from Mr. Tate.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you just let me know when we're allowed.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you.
This place is giant.
Yeah, I can give you a quick tour. I can't show
Okay.
you a lot of it. A lot of it's like off limits, but I can show you some of
Okay.
it. Gee, come bite them. Show them how scary you are.
Is this the normal level of security you have for your house every day, or is this just for us?
This
or?
is the normal level of security I have in my house every day. I'm prepared for all eventualities. It's better to be paranoid. I kind of like cars.
I can tell, yeah.
This door leads to... I can't take you in there. That's classified. Up on there, I can't take you in there either. It's classified. You do know if you go to any off-limit areas like security, you're going to intercept. So when I point classified, I'm basically saying don't make them put a gun in your face.
Got it.
TV, which I never watch. World title belts. I was 4-time kickboxing world champion.
And what's this painting over here?
That's my brother.
Who else lives here? Is it just you?
No, I live here with my brother. I think you get the best version of yourself if you live with other competitive men. I don't have loser friends. I like sitting down with people and discussing how we can make money from the conflict in Ukraine. That's what I enjoy. I don't want to talk about TV.
Wow. Wow. Okay. See, you had me there for a second, and then you said how to make money off of the conflict in Ukraine. Then you lost me, bro. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so there's strength in the words he uses, because it's like men should want to be surrounded by like-minded individuals, people who are going to push them for, you know, better. Something my dad has always told me was, you know, you got to have two friends. You got to know the difference between the friends, and there's two types. You've got elevators, or you got cages. And there's going to be people in your life who just keep you there and don't want to see you succeed. They bring negativity around. They just suck the joy out of things sometimes, or like they don't want to celebrate their friend's success or whatever, just because like they're the friends who want a discount when you're trying to start a business. Nah, bro, just pay for it. Support your fams. But then you say, all right, I want to make money off of the conflict in Ukraine. And then it's like, bro, how sacred is money to you? Like, do you value money over peace? Like, what are we trying to say there?
Interesting. Okay, cool. Hi, by the way. Sorry to interrupt. I'm Matt.
Georgia.
Wow,
Georgia, good to meet you.
that was
What
a
are you up to, Georgia?
wild statement.
Working.
Okay.
This is,
The woman I'm trying to speak to, Georgiana Noghel, would also later be arrested with Tate in December,
Georgiana, 2 coffees, please.
accused of assisting him in his human trafficking operation. Hey, how's it going? Hi. Hey, how are you?
Bro,
what are these
I
guys
want
up
those
to?
monitors, though.
Through what means?
I run Hustlers University, which is now currently the biggest online educational platform in the world. We've grown extremely.
That's what it was called. I mentioned earlier, he has his little boot camp thing. It's Hustlers University, so.
Really fast. 110,000 students inside of a year.
Hustlers University. Hustlers University. Hustlers University.
For $49 a month, Andrew Tate's online Hustlers University promises to teach his millions of followers the secrets of modern wealth creation, from crypto trading to dropshipping.
No big deal, just the biggest online school in history.
Is this a sharp sword or is it kind of a decorative sword?
I did a Tate speech about why I have this sword. A Tate speech is like my YouTube channel, Tate Speech.
Yeah.
And I talked about how the #1 problem with the world is that not enough men walk around their houses with swords.
Mm-hmm. That's up there for sure.
Because if more men walked around their houses with swords, so many of the world's...
I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty dope. Everybody should have a sword. Not gonna lie.
Issues could be fixed, but you have to extrapolate it.
Okay.
For example, so the woman panics, she sees something on TV, the man comes home, she's like, oh, we gotta start wearing the mask, da-da-da. If the man walked around with a sword, and she's like, put a mask on, he'd be like, I'm brave, I don't need a mask, I'm a commander. Fuck you. It's just a symbol of empowerment.
Good God.
You got your sword, your wife starts talking, you're like, shut up, I decide what I do. Be quiet. Cook.
Andrew's unashamed misogyny.
There it is. There it is. He's known as a cobra or some shit like that, but there's this snake, you know, showing its head. Like, that type of language, man. That's my biggest pet peeve, biggest issue with the Red Pill group is they all have that kind of mentality. And they're willing to talk to their partners that way, and it's... I do not want to see from my child.
Misogynistic and violent views so far seem to match his YouTube persona. But to find out how he's translated those into viral fame, I accept an invite onto the Tate Brothers podcast, Emergency Meeting, which is also a chance to get acquainted with his brother Tristan.
Welcome to Emergency Meeting, episode 13. We have a special guest.
Matt Shea, who is internationally renowned and respected. He's a folk singer, and he's going to sing us a song.
Andrew's invited his mate on our show without my consent. I'm just going to have to bite my tongue and listen to you guys talk most of this emergency meeting. Otherwise, I'm going to walk off.
Matt, can you introduce yourself? Tell them about your singing career. Tell them where you're from, etc.
Yeah, so I'm actually not a folk singer at all in the slightest. No, sorry.
What?
Are you calling my brother a liar?
You lied to me. Yes. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen the clown?
My brother a liar. It's weird how they have the same voice.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen the clown that eyes that gave
So you've never seen it?
No.
Strange.
Is he here somewhere?
Strange. Well, yeah, he's right here. I see him.
I see him.
All right, let's be nice to our vice friend. So let me be nice to him before he does a hit piece.
This is definitely a hit piece. I've warned my brother that this is a setup, and this is what everyone
I don't care.
I'm uninterested. I've clearly conquered the internet. I'm clearly unstoppable. I'm like the board.
You've invited the liberal news media to come
They
talk
can
in our
all
lives.
come. Just because I'm wearing a gun, I'm violent. Is that how it is? Just because I got knives all over the table and I'm a kickboxing world champion, I'm violent.
If you are wearing a gun and you have knives, that does make you a little bit violent.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Makes me security aware.
I don't want to sing a song.
I haven't
Sing
said
like you
anything.
promised.
It's a
You
setup.
think I won't kick Vice out of my house. I think.
A few more minutes, or are we done with it?
No. You can sing now, or you're off.
During an ad break, Andrew breaks character.
30-second break. Check shit. Another 5 minutes and we'll get you out of here. You can talk shit back. You can annoy us if you want.
Don't worry, no, I know. I'm just not very good at talking shit.
Breaking character, eh?
We have to do our normal broadcast.
Okay.
Kick him off the pod. Cool, man. Have fun, guys, yeah?
Bro, this is going to be the worst documentary about us.
What they gonna say?
I don't.
He has lots of cars and money. All the women love him. He's sexist. Oh no! Please don't put that on the internet. Who cares? Right? Whatever.
Within minutes of being on their show, the Tate content machine snaps into action.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Already.
You promised to sing to me. If you think I won't kick Vice out of my house, you can sing now, or you're off.
Tate Brothers embarrass Vice reporter. 18,000 likes.
Already.
246 comments, 66 reshares. Oh, I accidentally liked it.
Accidentally liked
Let's
it.
see what people are saying. Tate win, as always. I'm impressed how easily he runs over weak men's arguments.
It isn't Tate posting all these videos.
What weak man's arguments? All he was doing was trying to get this dude to sing, and he said, I'm not a singer. Unless they posted like a full video. I kind of want to see what TikTok they posted. I'd be curious.
So who are all these people? Tate Brothers Embarrassed Vice Reporter was posted by a fan account that has 58,000 followers and 3.9 million likes, and is just posting loads of videos every single day. Right in the description of his account, it says, looking to level up your life, start here. It's a sign-up link to the Hustlers University. Another account, and again, a link to the Hustlers University. He's got a clever formula here. It turns out a big part of Hustlers University is an affiliate marketing scheme where boys as young as 13 are instructed to share controversial videos of Andrew with links to the Hustlers University underneath. If someone signs up through your link, you get 48% of their subscription fee. By financially incentivizing 110,000 students to share his content online, Andrew has essentially built an army to make him rich and famous in a very short space of time.
Paying people to
And
advertise.
he's tactically avoiding the impact of social media bans because it isn't Andrew himself posting, it's his legion of fans.
All I'm doing is saying the shit that everyone thinks isn't allowed to say. So that's the reason I'm all big on the internet.
I'm starting to wonder whether he's just a living meme.
You're a loser because your mentality is loserish.
Some kind of viral marketing
guess that's
campaign to
fair.
swindle money from confused young men.
You never had the life I had, ever.
Or if he really believes what he says.
All I am offering is the truth.
And this is where we get the red pill.
Andrew
I guess,
first
but
appeared
he
on our
really- they
screens
really
as a
lean
reality
into that
TV
shit.
star.
I've never been in a situation in my life so far in my 21 years where I really want something and didn't get it.
He had found an arena where controversial personalities thrive.
I have to manipulate a lot of people to win.
But something happened when Andrew was on Big Brother, one of the biggest reality TV shows of all time.
This is Big Brother. Due to events in the outside world, Andrew has had to leave the Big Brother house.
He was reportedly removed from the program when a video surfaced of him slapping his ex-girlfriend and then beating her with a belt.
God damn.
I didn't say the word listen. Did I say listen? Did I say listen? Did I say it?
Public outrage simmered down
Did I
after
say
Andrew
listen?
released a video of his ex, claiming it was all part of a so-called kinky game.
It was just pure game. It's just what we.
I mean, if you listen to what he's talking about, like, did I say listen? Did I say listen? I mean, that just sounds like a nothing thing. It's possible. Like, if people are kinky like that, you never know.
Used to there.
But what the public didn't know, and what we can now reveal, is that around the time that Andrew was playing Truth or Dare in the Big Brother pool, the UK police had informed the production company that he was under investigation for 2 incidents involving other women. One of rape, and a further of physical assault. In May 2021, Tate made reference to his arrest in an appearance on the Fresh and Fit podcast.
I was like, who are you? And they're like, you're under arrest for a suspicion of assault of this dumb hoe. And I'm like, wait, this is dumb hoe? They didn't, but I'm going to protect her anonymity because I'm a nice guy. Dumb hoe.
During the same period, the Tate brothers were recruiting women for a webcam sex business and creating the first of their many online courses teaching other men how to do the same.
I am her everything. It doesn't matter if I fuck someone else because I'm her everything. She has nowhere else to go.
It was called the Tate PhD, or Pimping Hose degree.
She was a fucking hoe. I spotted it instantly because she didn't humble herself when she was supposed to. And I'm glad I didn't waste any more time on her because she's never going to be doing like my other girls do. Living in my house, letting me fuck other women, remaining loyal, and fucking bringing me coffees and doing as I say.
Andrew has closed down the Pimping Hose degree to focus on the Hustlers University.
Luke, your screen's compromised, yeah? So keep it super fucking vanilla.
But with a historic rape allegation in the UK, and the Romanian police now looking into him for rape and human trafficking, I want to find out more about his methods of recruiting women.
Yeah, that's.
Did you
a
at one
very
point say
big
that the
topic
girls
to
who
get
start as
into.
your girlfriends and then work for the webcam industry, 100% of the profit goes to you?
I think in a lot of households in the world today, the man is in charge of the investments. I think that's not an uncommon thing. Tell me a view I have that you think is genuinely insulting or destructive to society. I'd like to hear it.
You prefer younger women who are 18 or 19 because you can leave an imprint on them?
No, when I say leave an imprint, I mean that. I understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that, like, if I get her, I can brainwash her. I'm not trying to say that. If you meet a girl who's 22 and you're her second boyfriend, she's probably like a nicer person, less jaded, less upset, less suspicious.
So you like to be in a position of power?
It's not being in a position of power. It's about, I enjoy to show her amazing things. You're trying to attach things to the situation which aren't true.
5 years ago, you said rape is a terrible thing, but if you put yourself in a position to be raped, then you should bear some responsibility for that.
Okay, so first, we agree that rape is a terrible thing. The point I'm trying to make is the best way to prevent yourself from being raped is to have a degree of personal responsibility and not put yourself in positions to be raped, as opposed to standing there saying that rape shouldn't happen because, or men, raise our boys better. You know what else shouldn't happen? Robbery. I want the freedom to walk down the road with $1 million in cash.
Is it fair to compare the desire to walk around with £1 million in cash to someone wanting to just walk around their own city at night?
Well, female beauty is extremely valuable.
I think both of them could be considered pretty darn valuable. Like, people just need to be able to respect others' spaces and personal stuff. For him to equate the money to grape like this, though, that's I mean, that's a little bit decent. Like, I feel like you could be a little bit more sensitive than that to the topic, just because of how serious the offense is. But I can also understand that him thinking this way based off of that mentality he's already set in. It's a little scary.
Of course, female beauty is
like how, like, it doesn't sound like he's necessarily victim blaming, but he's victim blaming, you know? Like, I don't know.
Extremely valuable in the eyes of men who seek to exploit it.
I don't give a shit about having sex with beautiful women. I fuck them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do.
Have you heard the term lover boy before?
The lover boy method?
Yeah, romantically involving yourself with a woman and then making money off of her in some sort of sex adjacent industry.
Firstly, I would call the webcam industry far closer to psychology than sex. The webcam industry has prevented more male suicide than any group of therapists, any action group, any charity ever would, right?
Is that true? How can you measure that?
Well, it's not about measuring, it's about my personal experience.
One of the concerns that people have about that lover boy method is that
let me correct you, because I'm a professional.
Is that it's similar to, or people might consider that a form of grooming.
Okay, so I'm a professional, so I have to change what you just said. I have to at least challenge you on it. Nobody's concerned about anything that happened 10 years ago when a bunch of girls got rich. There's not a single female complaining.
Do you think there's not a single female complaining?
Have you seen one? Tell me.
Andrew says no woman has complained about him personally. He won't let us speak to the women who work for him, so for now it's difficult to verify this claim.
Think those are complaints.
But I have spoken to many women who complain about the effect Andrew's rhetoric is having on their lives. To protect them from harassment, I've agreed not to name them.
My ex-boyfriend was radicalized by Andrew Tate to the point of threatening to release revenge porn unless I took back what I said on social media against his sexist, misogynistic views.
Bro, what? No, hell no. People really doing that? Like, revenge, bro, come on, people. If that's you, I'm not even gonna front. If that's you, like, I feel like you should be able to get charges, because like that is a big breach of somebody's privacy, and bro, and you could be setting that person up for getting doxxed. You could set that person up for a lot of bad attention that they did not intend for. Like, that, like, it's damn near solicitation. Like, don't do it. Don't, like, if there's a situation with you and your girl you should never, in my opinion, have to freaking threaten something. Like, what could be so important that you need to threaten something like that? Like, bro,
It's like a virus, the things that he's spreading. The scariest thing is, I have no idea if the next guy I meet could be an Andrew Tate fan. As a teacher, it's definitely worrisome. There are boys who look up to him, especially those that are maybe vulnerable and they're sort of going to go into the real world carrying those violent views with them.
I'm 14. The boys at school my age think that it's okay to say horrible things like women are man's property and they get to do what they want with them. It makes me really disappointed in my generation.
Andrew's views represent a new era in modern misogyny,
Start talking to some bitches. Say, me and my man were fucking.
where you can now not only talk openly about subjugating and objectifying women, but doing so actually garners millions of committed fans.
They don't believe the level that you can operate at when you're actually a G.
The most hardcore of them
When
have
you're
traveled
actually
here
a
to
G.
Romania
That's what
to
you can
join
do when you're
the War
actually a
Room.
G,
The
bro.
War Room is a
Step your shit
fraternity.
up.
We're a brotherhood
Get
which
on
is
the level.
designed to inspire the best from our brothers. They have to have the mentality and the pedigree to survive. There's tests, and if you do them, you can stay inside.
At the top of Andrew's fraternity is a small group of wealthy and powerful men who all stand to gain significantly from the expansion of his empire. This inner circle is not happy that I'm here.
I bet they're not.
After our testy exchange this morning, Andrew invites me to watch him train.
Have you ever golfed before?
No. But it turns out he's planning on teaching me a lesson.
Who's got spare golf? There you go.
I appear to have
Because I
unintentionally
didn't
walked
like
into a
his
situation
questions.
where Andrew Tate is going to train me how to box.
Punch me. Punch me. Knock out. Oh, look like you're bleeding already. It's only round one. We've only warmed up. Keep going, bro. We've got 10 more rounds.
No, I can wait.
I meet and get punched in the
There's
face
the other
by
side.
the inner circle of the War Room. In the world Andrew is creating, not only are women to be subjugated,
Sorry, that almost felt like I got knocked out.
but men defined by their capacity to inflict violence.
Okay. Tap out.
You stopped. You were like, all right, pause, time out. Like, if that were happening in a street fight, would someone stop? No, so
No.
that's your reaction. I need to fight back.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. She.
I mean, and from a self-defense
The War Room is a
aspect, that
network. We
totally
have 10
makes
meetings
sense.
a year. The next one's going to be in the mountains of Transylvania. You could do it, but I don't know, my friend, if you're prepared.
We've left Bucharest and we're driving into the Carpathian Mountains to meet Andrew and his inner circle for the War Room, which is going to involve something called the Test.
I've made it into Andrew Tate's War Room, where 100 of his biggest fans have flown in from all across the world, each paying $5,000 to have their manhood tested by the one they refer to as Commander.
You see what I'm talking about?
None of us know what he has in store.
I welcome you all to the test.
This is an
There's a
average
cage fighting
dude
event.
that they
Every single
refer
one
to
of
as
you has been
Commander.
paired against a professional fighter. You will fight in the cage on national television, and it's a real fight. There are two paths you can go down. You can agree to fight, or you can decide that it's not for you. You have 1 hour to think and make a decision.
That's going to be a hard no from me. Maybe I'll do a yes, just to learn a little bit more of what happens, and then definitely pull out at some point.
Does anyone have any questions to ask me? There's no training before this fight. If you've been walking through
Jesus.
life too lazy to fucking train, is that your problem or my problem?
I couldn't help overhearing some disagreement within the War Room.
I think he wants to talk to you, wink, wink. What the hell are you doing? What's
It's gonna be fine, bro. We have an ambulance, we have medics. No one fucking knocked out. Don't worry about it.
Oh my God.
At the center of it all was Andrew's right-hand man, Iggy Semmelweis.
Who the heck is this
Here I
dude?
will share with you my secrets.
He's the self-proclaimed greatest hypnotist in the world.
You will learn the power of hypnosis.
Really, bro?
And seemed to have an agenda that expanded beyond the War Room itself into something larger and darker.
A frickin' cult, like I said it, bro.
Your daughters will marry their sons. You will create legacies. enjoying those juicy steaks, that finer scotch.
Hold. I'm sorry. I need to run that back for a second because I want to hear the words that just came out of this weird, creepy old dude's mouth.
Your sons will marry their daughters. Your daughters will marry their sons.
No. No. Where's this written? Who spoketh these words?
You will create legacies.
What?
Enjoying those juicy steaks, that finer scotch, those smoother cigars.
What kind of
He
freaking
refused to
prayer
speak
is
to
this?
us, but it's clear that he has a big role to play in whatever the War Room's real agenda is.
This is the War Room of Andrew Tate.
Welcome to the test.
Okay.
Now is decision time. You are getting indicated.
So just like Pharaoh, you gotta have the magic men to kind of like mystify him and get people's attention, and then you can come out with your speech and say, hey, listen to me, I am your commander. Even though I'm just some average bald dude with a lot of money, and I convinced some girls to sell their bodies online and let me take all the credit for it and get all the money out of it because they're dumb and I'm a bear. Okay, Beth. Go back to your war room.
Cage to fight a professional fighter who is trained to hurt you. Anyone who is fighting, please stand up. Anyone who is not fighting, you can stay seated, and we will begin the other program.
Just like that, a third of the room decides to get beaten up for Andrew Tate.
What happens to the people who said no?
They're doing something slightly different, describing the reasons they didn't do it, how that affects their life as a whole, whether they're gonna make any changes in the future to be more ready for opportunities. That's where honor comes from, right? From victory.
One of the men who said no agrees to speak to us as long as we hide his face.
Why did you say no?
I have been in the ring before, but just sparring. But I was like, fuck, professionals and Russians, like they guys are serious. I was just too scared. So then afterwards, I felt bad about myself, and I was angry at myself because I came here to be tested.
Andrew Tate has obviously said a lot of kind of controversial things online. What do you think about that?
A lot of things are very controversial, but I think the bottom of his message is a very, very positive one. Because if I'm not tough on myself, nobody else will be. Nobody really cares about me if I don't care about me, right? That's what I learned from Andrew Tate.
People who decided this morning and people who decided at a later date here.
We have a chaperone following us. We've been told that we're not allowed to talk to anyone.
What about in passing, asking people like, what single question?
Let me run this by Tate before we film. No other comment.
Okay, all right.
Would you be up for that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Our chaperone vets who we speak to and tries to heavily control our questions.
What do you do?
Show that you're not some sort of right-wing extremist for this.
Why did you join the war?
I don't want to be fucking stagnant. I need to grow. It's just a fundamental shift in my mindset. What I think could be bad is always good. Before the war room, I used to think, why is this happening to me? Now, what is this trying to like teach me?
About Andrew Tate specifically and the things he's...
Yeah, that's what I mean. There can be some, I guess, pearls of wisdom in there somewhere. Dig deep down there. You know, and when you can pull those beads out from the depths from way down there, you can kind of find a little gem. Like, you know, like he said, you as a man, I felt stagnant and I needed growth and I needed change, and like us as men, we need that. I feel like us as guys, we get stagnant, and then that's when we start to slow down and fall apart and really age. Like, what keeps us young is doing. You know, I feel like we are doers. We're the ones who, like they always say, we're providers. So we're built to want to do things and help please people with our actions. So develop yourself, develop your skills, build on yourself, you know, develop your mind. All of those things can really bring peace to you, and people don't, because they're so sucked into video games, which, I mean, I know I like to play my video games, but I also like to balance it out with like semi-educational things on the internets, you know? Whatevers. Don't judge.
Says online, the things that get him negative publicity. What do you think about those things?
I think speaking the truth.
Really?
Yeah.
Interviewing under the chaperone's supervision is proving restrictive.
Yeah?
No alpha craziness. He's an animal, this one.
So we can't speak to anyone?
Okay.
Who is this mysterious chaperone anyway?
Hey, man.
Matt, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, man.
I was wondering if we could have a little chat. Yeah?
Suits me, man. Brought over from Dubai.
Like most War Room leaders, he has a sports car.
Do you want to do the interview in here?
Yeah, I don't see why not, man.
And like most people with a sports car, he's keen to show it off.
You couldn't just sit somewhere on top?
So, what do they call you?
In these circles, sartorial or the sartorial shooter. I'm one of the guys who manages organizational risk and security for the war room. So anyone with any criminal activity, maybe they are showing signs of being racist or sexist or any of these sorts of things, they're out straight away. We will not tolerate that.
And so how do you reconcile that with some of the things that Andrew, for example, says online?
Any claims of misogyny or the fact that he's, spreading hateful words, that's not the reality of who he is, and that's not what the war room stands for, and that's not what he stands for.
This part gives me vibes like he's dropping this dude off after a date, and this is like them wrapping up their discussions and shit. Like, you had to have the conversation in your car in the parking lot. You didn't want to drive somewhere to sit down, like, and get out of the car? No. Okay,
many
that's
clips
cool.
of him out there saying, I'm not a misogynist, I provide for my women, I would stand up for my women in a violent situation.
What do you think his detractors would say about, for example, what you just said, the phrase, my woman? Do you think that they would consider that to be misogynist?
The phrase, my woman, for me ties into the very traditional values that we have.
Andrew's well known for talking a lot about his multiple girlfriends.
My woman.
How does that tie into this idea of a traditional relationship?
Men at certain levels can provide for multiple women. I mean, even we can go back 100 years ago,
That's
kings,
a headache, though.
wealthy men, they would support multiple families. How is that a bad thing? It's
That's
only
a
very
headache,
recently
though,
that
bruh.
men and women have been competing in pretty much in masculine realms, in work, in career. Not that long ago, and indeed in many cultures around the world, women still have the traditional gender norms. And
see, and like, I feel, all right, so he's talking about these gender norms and all this stuff, but like, I don't think he's talking from a Western society standpoint. He's more talking about that real traditional, I guess from back when America was great. I don't know, maybe. Preach. But like, it's this is where I understand like the possessiveness of calling, your wife or whatever and being possessive can have that slippery slope, because one, that is your partner, especially if y'all are married. By paper, you guys belong to each other, so in that sense there is going to be some form of possession. I feel like you have to, if you don't want to take ownership of your partner. I feel sorry for you. But for this man to sit here and to say a man can provide for multiple wives and history says men can do this, and not exactly, because even in prehistoric times, it was 1 and 1, it was just purely to help the survival of the child, because the woman would be vulnerable during those times of childbirth. Plus the child needs several years of development before it's really able to be self-sufficient. It's not like regular animals. They're 3 months after being born, they're ready to like free roam and be on their own. So yes, I guess it could be a little bit misogynistic, because you're saying, you're almost kind of saying that just because I'm able to do something means I should do it. When do your morals step in and say, okay, I could do this, but should I? Like, and none of them seem to question that.
believe in the war room, that's what leads to happiness.
Rather than a career, or like you have, your own agency in the world to pursue your own goals.
The women who I know who are most fulfilled in life are not trying to do the things that traditionally men used to do.
What about a situation where, this has just popped into my head, where I want my girlfriend, who I love, to be a kept woman, but she doesn't. She wants to pursue a career or something like that.
Then find a different woman. Very simple.
The core belief driving the war room and what men here are seeking is a misogynist fantasy of a time when they were kings and women were subjugated. It's at the heart of what Andrew Tate is selling. Just look at the tweets of Iggy Semmelweis, his second in command.
Am I the only one getting like Rasputin vibes right now? Like, this dude is freaking trippy, like creepy, cringe. Oh god.
My webcam girl is home 100% of the time, has no time or interest in going out.
A magician
She
in my
sleeps,
roster.
Cooks, cleans, does her shows, gives me all the money, gets railed by me and our girlfriends, then smiles, thanks me, and goes and does it again tomorrow. Welcome to the war room.
This is the war room of Andrew Tate.
Now, it's quite possible this next story has passed some of you by, but you would be in a minority.
As the war room members and I are bussed to the fight location, the world begins to talk about Andrew Tate with a new intensity.
He is a 35-year-old influencer who's been accused of spreading rape
openly
culture.
condones and celebrates violence against women.
Hitting women. Kids are acting like the things that he's saying is like revolutionary.
11-year-old boys, they love
Please stop looking up to Andrew Tate. He is a bad guy.
With the PR crisis going on, Andrew's team are eager for some good press. So they send an extra friendly chaperone to sell me on the benefits of the war room experience.
I'm Alpha Wolf.
Okay.
My role is to be Alpha Wolf.
Okay, fair enough.
Life is all about how you deal with the pain and how you move forward.
Right.
You're gonna learn a lot about yourself as a man, so take it, make the best out of it, and grow as a man and be tough.
There's something about a grown-ass man covered in gray hair talking about I'm Alpha Wolf.
All of the men in this room seem to be taking this incredibly seriously.
What's your goal for the fight?
Of course I'm gonna try to win.
I see a lot of contenders right there
who
had the guts to come right here in the cage. If any one of them win one fight, he's gonna win all their money, all their girls.
This is the culmination of Andrew Tate's pressure cooker of male insecurity.
You're a fucking broke. You are poor. I'm the only guy on this fucking platform flying around in private jets with 27 cars living this lifestyle. Most of you are not too stupid to become rich.
Are you ready? Round one.
But while they come forward to gratefully take the beatings they've paid thousands of dollars for,
You're here to lose a little bit of blood.
Andrew Tate's future on social media is hanging in the balance. And the public backlash is spreading.
I would imagine so.
I'm desperate to ask him about all of this. But first, I have to get through this ridiculous situation that I've found myself in.
All right, let's go.
Give it up for Matt. Did I say it right?
I'm very excited for it. Now, as soon as the bell goes, Matt has passed the test. I know he's going to lose, but wow, he's actually in there. Let's go, Matty!
Wow. Interviewer got in there.
Whatever's going on behind the scenes, watching me get chased around puts a smile on Andrew's face.
Texas gets stripped to the ground.
And there's going to be a ground and pound finish. No, but that is it. The referee calls it. Hold on, man. Good decision. He was unable to defend himself. I hated these guys when they turned up. I almost punched Matt myself when he was in my house. You know what? He's officially won me over. I can't believe he actually got in there.
Jesus, this dude.
Those who went all in on their fight came out badly. One man was knocked out and taken away on a stretcher.
God, that hit, bro.
The inner circle had put these men through collective hardship and recreated them in Andrew Tate's image.
I kind of want to find that video and see that knockout. Good.
He broke his hand.
That shit.
And you're fine. So you win.
But they had also joined a movement that was widely accused of normalizing sexism and rape culture. While the men who chose to fight are paraded in front of the crowd, Andrew's team shamed those who refused.
This shame hold on to it. Don't let it go.
So anyone who fought, you
Don't
put your
let
hand
it
up,
go.
how the experience was, how it's going to change your life, and if you have anything to say to the people who didn't fight.
I don't think I have any word of advice for the people that didn't do it, except that you should have probably.
Immediately, you went to check on me, and I'm thinking, I want to go train because I felt inadequate, right? So
yeah,
that's what I want to do.
Right now, I have new mountains to climb, and I'd love to get back here a year from now and go to the gym of the guy who beat the shit out of me.
Dang, bro.
Didn't it feel like a movie the last few days? I feel like that's a great metaphor
Definitely did
for
beat
life.
the shit out of you.
You know, we shouldn't be slaves. We shouldn't be working 9-to-5 jobs. We should actually make our lives into, I guess, a movie.
I want to be known as one of the best fathers in the war room. I can't look at my sons and tell them to suck it up, Buttercup, if I don't say yes to this.
Yeah, makes sense.
See, now that I can kind
Whether
of
or not
agree
they
with,
fought,
because you know, like, once again, you can't sit there and tell your children to do something that you can't even do yourself. I'm a firm believer in that, and like, I feel like as a parent you should be ready to make that kind of stand. So I definitely commend this dude for doing that. I personally wouldn't have spent $5,000 to join a fight club when I could just go join like my local dojo and get the same kind of camaraderie and training and all that good stuff. I don't think I need to call another grown man commander to learn these things. But hey, what do I know?
All the men here paid $5,000 to the only real winner in this performance, Andrew Tate.
For the people who want to stay and relax, there's some chicks.
I'll say anything if you're gonna put money in my pocket.
Yeah, let's have fun. I hope you all enjoyed it.
And
We're
then I
told
can
not to
subject
film
you
the
to whatever for
celebrations
my
that conclude
enjoyment.
the evening, and it's not clear exactly what goes on. But once outside the lobby, we could clearly see a room containing naked women being photographed. With Andrew's team increasingly conscious of negative publicity, tonight could be the last chance to interview him.
Do you consider the possibility that some of the things that you've said, which have been viewed 11 billion times, may lead to an attitude towards women that could be harmful?
I accept that across all of that viewership, I have perhaps, possibly, maybe said one thing, or maybe two, that has upset a large range of people.
Wouldn't it make sense to just apologize for some of the things you've said, acknowledge that they have caused harm, and say that you won't say those things again?
No, and I'll tell you what.
Makes sense.
I'm not going to
Wouldn't it?
apologize for the edits of other people. I'm not going to apologize for the misunderstandings of other people. There's a whole bunch of clips people are making which make me look very bad. That's not good for my life. That's not good for business.
The clips that portray you in a negative light also help the algorithm to make you become more famous and more viral.
I'm not an expert on algorithms for social media platforms. I do not have most of them installed on my phone. I cannot control what a 15-year-old Singaporean decides to do when he chops me up and calls me names.
Well, you can when you pay them for it.
I can't control that, and I wouldn't try to.
There has been a lot of bad press about you. That's made some nervousness within members of the war, and why is that?
Well, obviously, when people are going to continue to lie and continue to do very, very shallow, very, very fictitious investigations, people are going to lose faith in you. The media has lost all credibility because you do not try and portray the truth anymore.
One thing that stands in the way of truth, for example, is when we often do documentaries, we have full access to speak to anyone we want. But in this documentary, we've been very closely watched by the sartorial shooter at Alpha Wolf, picking who we can speak to, you know, monitoring the interview. What is it that you're worried that we're going to find out?
These questions are so low.
This is low. It's low. We let you in. We tried to take care of you, and you're sitting here and just attacking us for 3 hours, bro.
The world is asking these questions, and the viewers will be asking these questions.
The man talking about the world being a hard place and it's gonna attack you at any point in time, and if you're in the middle of a fight, they're not gonna laze up on you just because you've had a minute. And now you're gonna bitch about some questions? You're really gonna complain about some questions, bro? I mean, a guilty conscience wouldn't be worried about some questions. That's just... that to me, that's what the word integrity would probably mean, you know? Like, I don't know. It's just, but hey, I don't have my own Hustlers University. What do I know?
Consistent narrative. Where's the question about the good he's doing for men? Well, there's a very clear narrative. I need to leave.
It's not that
In
clear,
the days
though.
afterwards, Tate is banned from YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, to the protest of his fans.
Motherfucker was right behind me.
They have shut us down. This is warfare against the West.
For a moment, it seems the deplatforming has worked. But then, he reappears on Instagram with an emoji covering his face.
You're lost. You understand you're living inside of a mechanism which is designed to control you.
He moves to Dubai, converts to Islam, sets up a new bank entirely owned by him.
See?
And
Make that
rebrands
money,
the
bro. I
Hustlers
get that.
University
Hustle.
as the real world. In the first month after being deplatformed, he made $11 million and got 250 million views on TikTok alone. Months later, Elon Musk reinstates his Twitter account and he gains 1 million followers in 24 hours.
I have no criminal charges. There's no charges at all against me. I have not hurt any women. No women are coming forward saying Andrew hit me. Zero.
Don't worry, I got a video lined up for
Andrew maintains that he has never abused a woman. But when we get back from Romania, we finally manage to speak to some women from his past. Amelia began seeing Andrew in 2013. Due to fear of harassment from his fans, she is withholding her real name.
I always knew, even back in the day, there was always things said bad about him. But when I'd seen him again in 2013, I thought, oh, all these rumours about him, they were false because he's actually been really lovely. The first time I went around his house, because before it was like maybe 3-4 times we've gone on dates, we started to make out on the bed. Out of the blue, he literally just stopped what he was doing and just laid back, said, I'm just contemplating whether I should rape you or not. I promise you, within an instant, he changed. He just jumped straight on top of me, grabbed my throat, started suffocating me, strangling me. The more I didn't want to, it made him so much more aggressive to the point where he was pinning me down, hurting me. The things he was saying to me, he was like, who do you belong to? Who do you belong to? And the more I couldn't say it, the more he'd hurt.
So there's that slippery slope of the possession thing. That you gotta know how to draw the line somewhere. And like, bro, there's communities for this. Like, people like actually, like, I would say some women actually can, you know, what, condone, can agree to stuff like this. Like, why? But you have to respect their space too. Like, you can't just jump right into that. Like, people gotta discuss boundaries, and Jesus Christ, I can't shoot. But people gotta respect boundaries, and you gotta set up like an understanding of where the line is, so that way you know where not to cross. Because you don't want to set up a situation like this where now this person is scarred from this moment that you thought you were being all cool and macho and blah blah blah, but really you just scarred this person because now they have this type of look on it. Like, you always have to be mindful of other people. Like, hate how selfish people can be.
Hurt me, so I didn't see an escape. And at that point, I just gave up. I just gave up. And then when it stopped, he went to the bathroom and acted if it was normal. So I'm like, maybe I did I want it? Did I not? I definitely said to him, please don't, and he told me shut the fuck up. Definitely got strangled. I definitely didn't want it. Did he think I wanted it? And you look back, the psychological warfare you have with yourself is like you couldn't even imagine. You wouldn't know, you wouldn't understand it unless you've been through it. Can't even say the damn word.
Have you since come to terms with the notion that that may not have been consensual, that may have been...
I know for a fact it wasn't consensual.
But it's hard to use the word.
Even though I know technically it's true, that did happen, that is what happened to me, I still don't like vocalizing it.
Amelia's method of coping with the alleged rapes was to pretend to herself that it was a normal relationship.
The abuse wasn't consensual because he knew I didn't want it, which he confirms in multiple voice messages and texts to me.
Am I a bad person?
Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I fucking loved how much you hated it. Turned me on. Are you
Jesus
seriously so
Christ.
offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't fucking pass out. And all the women I've ever slept with, not a single one has ever bitched or complained like you are bitching and complaining now.
Every few months, Andrew would send me on a different number, messages to remind me of how dangerous he was.
I thought I'd remind you of the caliber of man I am. I am one of the most dangerous men on this planet.
Scare tactics to make sure I wouldn't go anywhere, go to the police, wouldn't report, would always be under his control. It was always to remind me that he was there.
After 6 months, Amelia eventually left Andrew when she says she began to fear for her own life. In 2014, she also decided to report the incident to police, who logged it.
A year after, I got a phone call from a police officer from Hertfordshire Police.
Hertfordshire Police.
She said to me, "We have 2 other girls that have come forward and said the exact same thing as you. Would you please be willing to come onto this investigation to make this case stronger?" And without any hesitation, I said yes. And I thought, well, if there's 2 other girls, I'm not alone now. I'm not alone.
One of those women was Sally. She was 20 when Andrew Tate approached her for webcam work. Due to fears of harassment from his fan base, she is also withholding her real name.
First night that I worked for him, Andrew bought me like 5 bottles of wine. So I got completely drunk because I'd never done webcam work. So I was very, very nervous. Then that night, we were just sitting on the bed and Andrew punched me in my arm. I went to the bathroom and cried. It really, really hurt to have someone just hit me in the arm for no reason. I was very confused. Sorry. Sorry, I don't want to cry.
It's okay.
So then when I came out of the bathroom, he was super, super nice. Like, from what I remember, Andrew didn't have any alcohol at all. It was literally just me. That night we cuddled and we ended up having sex and I was really, really drunk. That was my first night. Then it was kind of like every single night I would work.
Were there any other instances where there was physical abuse?
He used to strangle us as well.
Like,
there was another time
that's the
when he
difference
came into the
between
bedroom,
consensual and
me and the other girl,
non-consensual.
we would sleep in the same bed with Andrew, but at this time the girl had a partner, so she was not interested in Andrew at all. And I had gone to the shower, I came back and I noticed he was, like, I saw him raping her. And when he threatened to beat me up in the bathroom and he said, "Oh, I don't give a fuck if you call the police, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." That's kind of when I knew, I had to get out of there. I stopped working for Andrew about March, April time, and I went to the police shortly after that. Nothing was done, really. The other girl that he had raped, she went to the police, and then that's when they arrested him and took him into custody for like 2 days. When Andrew was arrested, we were taken in for a proper interview, and it kind of just got left. I would send emails asking them to update, I'd hear nothing back.
When we reached out to Hertfordshire Police about this, they had this to say. We acknowledge that there were some delays to the investigation. This was addressed at the time and apologies were made. The decision to prosecute based on the police's evidence would be up to the Crown Prosecution Service.
Unfortunately, they turned around and just said, "Oh, we can't continue this case anymore. It's just insufficient evidence."
You witnessed the rape occurring. Did that not count as evidence for them?
No. They openly said it's really, really difficult to prove rape. Very difficult.
The Crown Prosecution Service said, in this case, we carefully reviewed all the evidence provided by the police regarding each complainant and concluded it did not meet our legal test and there was no realistic prospect of a conviction. In the UK, only 1 in 100 reported rapes result in a charge, let alone a conviction.
Now that's the UK charges. He's also got charges pressing in Romania.
In a statement issued via his lawyer in Romania, Tate denied the assault or rape. He said, "They wanted money because I fired them. The police understood after the investigation that I am innocent, and the police found messages from the girls' phones where they were talking between themselves and planning to lie about me."
About this.
Sally said, "The CPS sent a letter saying that one of the reasons they didn't charge Tate was because they found voice notes on our phones where we talked about whether we should tell the police that he gave us alcohol. We were talking about it because that is what happened. He used to get us drunk."
They clearly didn't think a text from a man to a woman saying, "I love raping you. I know what I do to you is abusive and controlling." To CPS, apparently,
but the more
that's
you
not enough.
fight it, the more I like it. Like, that doesn't sound red flaggy
did
to you?
The bravest thing I think I ever done in my life, which was hell, 4 years of absolute hell, going through an investigation without anyone knowing, and basically had to do it alone, was all a waste.
Despite repeated requests, Tate's lawyer did not provide a response to Amelia's allegations. The Romanian investigation into Andrew Tate and his brother finally led to an arrest on the 29th of December.
The Matrix has attacked me.
The Matrix
Police accused
has
them of
attacked
using the
him.
Loverboy method to traffic at least 6 women into a Romania-based webcam sex business. But we now know similar allegations have dogged Tate for years. His followers are obsessed with the idea that the Matrix is conspiring against him. But if anyone in this story is the victim of a conspiracy, is it the multi-millionaire celebrity? Or is it the women who claim they were abandoned by the system?
You know, you see all these young men talking about how he's such a great guy and he's their idol and stuff, and that's so difficult to see. There are better role models out there. Don't be fooled by all the money and the nice cars and all the women.
I can
Working on
definitely
yourself
agree with
and
that.
becoming a better man and better mindset. Yeah, but real men don't lay their hands on women.
Now, I will say, like Bill Burr would say, sometimes women be pushing it though. Like, I'm not saying hit them, but like sometimes. I'm just kidding. Oh my god, I love that bit. So that's kind of like Andrew Tate in a nutshell, as far as like what makes him viral, what makes him so big. That particular video, oh my god, excuse me, it's been a long day. But that particular video there was from 5 months ago, so it's a little bit behind on some of the information coming from Romania, but I thought it would be a good place to start getting into who this person is. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of freaking accent that is. Feel like it's weird how similar him and his brother sound. Like it sounds like they have the same voice. It's crazy. Freaking human.
Reporters for Vice News travel the world,
So let's see
putting a
what part
human face to the
2
world's most important
on
stories.
Vice's discussion goes into the Andrew Tate story.
But now,
Because this is
this episode,
getting access
we hear from the
to
team who spent
secret
time
society.
with Andrew Tate. Those have helped make time with Tate and got rare access to his inner circle.
Stands in the way of truth, one.
Right in. Like, what's the 101? Like, for someone who like
Okay,
a lot
I was about to
Thank
say
you guys.
it's
We let you in. We tried to take care of you, and
I
you're
have-
sitting here and just attacking.
No, very close. We have full access to speak to anyone we want. No, but in this documentary, we've been very closely watched by the sartorial shooter at Alpha Wolf, picking who we can speak to, you know, monitoring the interview. What is it that you're worried that we're going to find out?
These questions are so loaded.
This is low. It's low. We let you in. We tried to take care of you, and
I
you're
have-
sitting here and just attacking us for 3 hours.
Thank you guys for joining me and talking about your extraordinary reporting on Andrew Tate. There's a lot to talk about. This is a long investigation. You got incredible access and revelations of some really serious allegations. So let's dive right in. Like, what's the 101? Like, for someone who doesn't know who Andrew Tate is, why were you following him for so long, and what did you find out?
Well, Jamie first started looking into Andrew Tate years ago, and since then he's only grown in popularity. So he is a kind of a viral influencer who's known for his sort of self-help style videos, which claim to teach you how to become a wealthy alpha male. But he's become more famous for his kind of viral misogynistic diatribes where he talks about violence against women, that women are men's property and things like that. His videos have been viewed over 13 billion times on TikTok alone.
Billion?
Billion with a B. He, at one point last summer, was more Googled than Kim Kardashian and Donald Trump. So, you know, a lot of adults may not know who he is, but I guarantee that if you don't know who he is, your son does, your nephew does, and they're watching him probably right now on TikTok.
And so what made you want to follow what he was doing, Jamie?
Yeah, so in the sort of later part of 2019, I DM'd Andrew Tate after a colleague at work actually told me about how a friend of hers brother had become obsessed with this guy called Andrew Tate and was taking pictures dressed like him, doing like set-up shots where he was playing chess. And that just immediately grabbed me, that there was this figure that young men were like emulating in such a direct way. And then when I found him online, obviously he was posting incredibly shockingly misogynistic content, graphic descriptions of violence towards women. And I think what shocked me most about him, because obviously the manosphere had been around for a while at that point, right? These sort of like male influencers, but
the manosphere is what they refer to as red pill. Those are basically the same thing. Very similar ideology, very similar talking points, although they do still somehow try to distance themselves because the red pill tends to be a little bit more extreme. So I guess you could say it would be like men's rights activists, then it slowly slides down into manosphere, red pill, Andrew Tate.
With Andrew, he was simultaneously the most shocking, but also quickly becoming the most popular. And not only was his community people messaging each other online with messages of support about Andrew Tate, but he had fans who were willing to pay thousands of dollars to meet up in real life and spend time with Andrew Tate and learn from Andrew Tate. And that immediately grabbed me as something that we hadn't necessarily seen before.
It's bloody
So talk me through how
mate.
you got the access, because he's letting you into kind of his inner sanctum. You witnessed quite a bit, so like must not have been easy to convince him to do that.
Yeah, so I mean, when I first reached out to Andrew, he was still relatively unknown. He had about 50,000 Instagram followers, which when you compare to his profile now is fairly insane. But he, I think, as you'll see in our film, has, to an extent, perhaps always been interested in becoming famous. He was on 2 reality TV shows as a young man, and then seemed to sort of court the tabloid press in the UK for coverage about his webcam business that he was running at the time. So when I first reached out to him, he was actually pretty receptive to Vice coming to cover him. He has, I believe, potentially a bit of an ego that wanted him to have that coverage, but he sort of invited us in cautiously with, you can have an interview, you can come into our sort of house, you can meet Tristan, but that's it. And I sort of spent the next like year and a half just speaking to him, staying in touch regularly. Throughout that period, I managed to get access to his war room and his inner circle. And he was cautious about letting us in, but for some reason, keen for us to be there.
Yeah, and like when he's letting you in, you can see in the film some of his associates being like, what are you doing? Like letting these guys into our place. What did it feel like to be in there? Because it is quite odd. They're women sort of serving you, they're men on computers doing things, like you played chess with him.
Yeah, I mean, we basically were allowed into his lair, and as you said, to meet his inner circle. It was actually kind of scary because they, as you said, all hated us being there. His brother was furious that we were there, kept saying this is going to be a hit piece. The other members of Inner Circle really disagreed with us being there.
All right, let's be nice to our vice friend. So let me be nice to him before he does a hit piece.
This is definitely a hit piece. I've warned my brother that this is a setup, and this is what everyone.
I don't care. I'm uninterested. I've clearly conquered the internet. I'm clearly unstoppable. I'm like the Borg.
You've invited the liberal news media to come.
They can all come.
I think he understood something about publicity, and he had an idea that all publicity is good publicity. No matter if you shock people, offend people, whatever, it helps you to become more viral and ultimately helps you to sell more courses and achieve your goals of becoming wealthy. But I think what he didn't account for was that this is the kind of publicity that may not be so good. One of the scariest moments that happened was I interviewed him when we were playing chess, and I asked him some kind of difficult questions about his misogynistic views. And then later that day, he said, "Oh, do you want to come to the fight gym and just film me sparring a professional UFC fighter? It might be some good footage for your documentary." I said, "Yes." When I got there, he said, "Put some gloves on, you're fighting." And I'd never boxed or done anything like that before. Within seconds, Andrew Tate was punching me in the face. And he was like, "Yeah, 10 more rounds, let's go. You know, you're in this well." And I sort of was like, "Can I fight someone my own size?" And he said, "Yeah, okay, this guy." And he pulled over this guy who was my own height, but like, twice the size of me in terms of muscle. And he just like wailed on me. I felt like I was gonna pass out.
Jamie, you must have been kind of worried at that point.
Yeah, there's a point where I had to jump in because, I was having explicit conversations with him beforehand going, this guy doesn't know how to box. I don't think we should be doing this. Like, if you're going to do it, can it please be sort of training?
I'm not really feeling this video. I don't want to get into the interviewers. I want to stick more to the topic of Andrew Tate. So, this one is supposed to go more into the actual charges that he's facing. This is just a Watch Mojo, basically one of those freaking BuzzFeed channels, I think. But it's supposed to go over his actual charges, and this is as of 3 days ago. So let's see what these people say.
I can do whatever I want to.
Jesus Christ,
that's
bro.
what it is.
We can't
Welcome
start
to
like
Watch
that.
Mojo, and today we're explaining the Andrew Tate charges.
I think the concern is for the level of influence I have and the reach I have.
For this video, we'll be looking at the crimes that Andrew Tate and his accomplices have been accused of, and where the case may go from here. What's your take on Tate? Let us know in the comments.
I feel like
Tate's
this narrator's
rise to
voice does not
infamy.
seem
A
to
kickboxing
fit the
champion
seriousness
turned
of the
reality
topic.
TV star. Andrew Tate is primarily known for his controversial activity on social media and misogynistic views. Tate has been accused of negatively influencing young male followers and scamming people through endeavors like Hustlers University, have called into question. Yet he faced few consequences for his actions outside of being banned across social media over his hate speech or Tate speech.
Only stupid people could even contemplate that being true.
Even then, Elon Musk would welcome him back to Twitter in November 2022. It wasn't until late December 2022 that the authorities took action against Tate. Raid, arrest, and alleged accomplices. 8 months had passed since Romanian police raided Tate's home in Pipera and webcam studio, both of which he shares with younger brother Tristan.
The Matrix has attacked me.
The authorities found 4 women, 2 American and another Romanian, who claimed to be captives. The Tates were nonetheless allowed to go free, but the Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism, DCOT, delved deeper into the brothers' alleged history of human trafficking and sexual assault. As the new year approached, the Tates and 2 female associates were arrested. All 4 of them were accused of human trafficking and creating an organized crime group. One of them is also suspected of sexual assault. DCOT initially found 6 potential female victims that the Tates allegedly forced to perform sexual acts on camera.
First night that I worked for him, Andrew bought me like 5 bottles of wine. So I got completely drunk because I'd never done webcam work.
The number of identified victims eventually grew to 7, although 2 have defended the...
I wish I would have pre-selected some of these videos, but I also like to blind react to them. I don't want to I'd rather give you the raw, unfiltered reaction to these things. So this one I think should be a better video because this is a criminal lawyer explains. This is an actual lawyer who gets on YouTube and talks about various, legal issues, legal videos that go viral, and he just kind of responds to them and talks about things from a legal perspective. So I think this one will be a little bit more informative.
Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Good God, bro. This guy is like, what is he from, like ATL? Good Lord.
Hi, I'm Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Why is that important? Because you're looking at this through an expert. I'm an expert in criminal law, expert in trial law. I'm board-certified by the National Board of Trial Advocacy and board-certified by the State Bar Association of Minnesota as a criminal trial and a criminal law specialist. What does that mean? It means I've had a lot of trials. I've cross-examined a lot of experts. I've had 4 judges, 4 lawyers, 4 prosecutors, and some other people that I don't even know vouch for me. I've taken 2 exams. I've demonstrated a proficiency and an efficacy in the area of criminal law. I'm an expert in this field. And I'm not saying that because I'm all that in a bag of chips. I'm saying that because when you hear my opinions on what happens on these cases, it's with some 25 years of experience as a criminal trial lawyer, okay? So, so I'm not just another talking head. And plus, we have the content genius Michael Rivers to thank. He is behind the camera, and everything I do, it runs through him, and he is just a genius. And I love him to death. So, let's get into this. Today we are reacting to Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate has been formally charged, and we're going to get into that in a second. But, you guys know all about my grandparents, right? Well, here's the other thing. You don't just use e-sign, for, to get somebody out of your basement, like my grandparents just won't leave. And I don't really have the heart. But you know what they're doing? They got
Okay.
Force, fraud, or coercion. Human trafficking has been charged first, in fact, formally with human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. Okay?
That's what he's been.
So, remember what I told you about
with.
sex trafficking, what they need to show? Force, fraud, or coercion, right? So, he and his brother Tristan and the 2 women all got charged with forming a criminal gang to that end. Sex trafficking, by its nature, involves force, fraud, or coercion. There is some evidence of force, apparently. There is evidence of coercion in the form of debt, and I'll get to that in a second. And then there's also the fraud, the lover boy, trying to get them to come, because you're going to get married and all these promises. And he gave these videos out, or he created these videos to say you need to control the women and make them think that they're the only one and blah, 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 make them loyal. That whole scheme, by his own words, are a form of fraud. And whether it's force, fraud, or coercion, or a combination of the 3, that's going to be a problem for him. And here's the other thing. So now the judge has a file, and he's got 60 days to review this file. And I'm not exactly sure what that process entails. We're going to look into that a little bit more so we can kind of better inform you as to what that is. But right now, I don't exactly know. This is brand new information. But think about this. And I'm not sure who his judge is going to be for this trial. But if it's the same judge that's been denying him bail and has been reviewing, how are you going to get a fair trial with that guy? Because he's already made a determination that force, fraud, and coercion and all this stuff exists, right? So remember we had that 80-page order that detailed a lot of the crimes. And so you don't get a jury in Romania. What are the allegations that they're trying to extricate themselves from? So according to the BBC, the alleged victims were taken to buildings in Ilfov County where they were intimidated, placed under constant surveillance, and control and forced into debt, according to a statement from the Romanian prosecutors. The defendants allegedly then forced the women to take part in pornography. Well, we know they did that, with the OnlyFans and that kind of stuff. So let's just look at the other things that they took from, aside from the cars, because we already covered the cars. Remember they took all their fucking Bugattis? whatever they had, how many ever cars they had. They took 14 luxury watches, a Bitcoin. Remember in his videos he talks a lot about Bitcoins? He had 16.10 Bitcoins, which is worth $294,000. 4.97 Bitcoins worth $90,000, and 0.003 Bitcoins worth $58.44. I don't know why he put that in there. But so they're going after him pretty hard, and they're trying to take everything. Anytime you get assets from illegal means, that they become subject to forfeiture, and so that's why that's an issue for them. So, in response to this news, Mr. Tate decides to so eloquently put out a piece. I don't know what you want to call it. He makes an official statement after he gets charged. Let's just take a look at this. This is so odd.
So I just wanted to have an informal conversation. I
just want to have an informal conversation without my shirt on.
I was going to put a suit on and do this formally, but I think it's better if I do this informally.
Bro, you can still do it informally with a t-shirt.
If this was my client, I'm pulling my fucking hair out. I don't want my client making any public statements. You've seen the recent interview with Donald Trump, which is just a disaster. When you have a pending case, when you have public figures like this, the public figures, remember Alec Baldwin, he did the same thing. They get on the air and then they spew shit, and everything they say related to the case is 100% usable in court.
Highlighting some of the things that everybody already knows about how the Matrix operates and what they're trying to do to me and what I believe is going to happen next.
Just so you know, there is no Matrix.
Next. It's quite interesting that they are attacking me and attempting to vilify me at the exact same time, whereas real predators, which work for the media establishment, are being ousted.
What you're going to hear in this is not him defending himself or talking about the actual substance of the allegations. He's just going to talk about the media.
So it's really interesting to do a juxtaposition and do a comparison, right, between how they will treat Philip Schofield.
And how they will. He's talking about the media. He's not talking about the court in Romania.
Who is confirmed as a groomer, who is admitting he has committed sexual crimes.
And if we've seen his prior videos, guess who's also admitted to being a groomer, and make them fall in love with you, make them do this. And I know some of you guys are just licking his balls on each side, saying, oh, but he can't do any wrong and it's not really illegal to make somebody fall. Well, yes, when you extract some commercial sexual enterprise out of somebody under false pretenses, that is illegal. That is the crux and crumb of sex trafficking. It is.
And how they'll treat me, a man with no convictions and no admission of sexual crimes.
Not yet. And he does self-snitch quite a bit.
Look at the differences in the headlines. Look at how soft they are in their interviews with him.
You've had used to third person.
How are you?
I hate how quick play is broken in Call of Duty right now.
Look at how now, after only 2 or 3 days, the headlines are saying we should forgive him and feel sorry for him.
This matters not to what's going to the road that lays in front of him. It just doesn't. It has nothing to do with it. He's looking to build public sentiment to keep his little empire of incels going.
And let him off. Whereas me, who's been under constant media assault for over a year, they never let up. They never change.
One of the problems that, he puts a lot of content out there. So there's a lot to comment on, and there's a lot to digest, really.
Someone sent me a clip yesterday of Philip Schofield saying he's going to kill himself and how sad he is.
Last week, if my daughters hadn't been there.
Who cares? Honestly.
X. This dude is a known sex offender.
Sex offenders, there is
Who
no
cares?
cure for them, right?
Take care of yourself. Do us all a favor.
What he really is unwittingly doing is comparing himself to another sex offender. And whether you like it or not, he's putting themselves right next to the guy.
I wouldn't be here.
Why do they keep pushing me? Why do they keep pushing me, playing the sympathy card? And all the headlines are now like, yeah, we can't keep attacking this poor man. For 1 year they've attacked me, and they will not stop.
They will not stop.
And this highlights
What
the
is
difference
that
between
accent?
the people who are on the side of the establishment and the people who are not on the side of the establishment.
Not on the side of the establishment.
I've been offered to sell my soul very many times.
Okay, now we're what?
Very many
a little
times.
over 2 minutes into this, and he doesn't talk one bit about the sum and substance of the allegations, because he can't.
I want everyone at home to understand, you do not become the most Googled man on earth, especially amongst a demographic of young men which have money to spend.
Vulnerable young men. You know what? Let me just give a statement out to these vulnerable young men. You know, you're never going to have a Bugatti. You know, you want to know what the color of my Bugatti is? I never would have one, period. Even if I had, you know, fuck you money, I would never have a Bugatti. And the reason being is...
my president
to change
was black,
the brakes,
so
it's like 25 grand a
Bugatti
wheel.
would be
I don't know
blue.
if it's quite that much, but it's pretty close. It's not real. You know, his promises of a future for you guys is not real. You know what's real? Working hard every day, going to school, getting a college education, finding a wife, loving a family, getting something together and building slowly. And all of a sudden you look back on it, look what I built. This get-rich-quick bullshit is just never real.
Without very large companies and corporations becoming extremely interested in you. I've been offered $50 to $60 million by companies I'm not going to name.
Why wouldn't he name them? Probably because it's bullshit. That's my guess. I mean, if somebody was going to give him $50 to $60 million just to shut up, I mean, if he's not part of the Matrix, why wouldn't he name him? Is he part of the Matrix? I mean, clue you in. There is no fucking Matrix.
All I had to do was shut up. Shut up, take the money. Wear the stupid hat, wave around the stupid drink, whatever it is. And continue.
He's talking about selling out. And eSign.com, you don't want to ever sell out to anybody, eSign.com. Seriously, eSign.com, don't you ever sell out to anybody, really. And, you know, and Andrew Tate, God love him, he didn't sell out eSign.com. And I would never eSign.com sell out, ever.
To agree with whatever the Matrix says, regardless of my own personal feelings, my personal views and beliefs.
Oh, by the way, there's no Matrix.
And just push it on
No
the minds
Matrix.
of young children. And I refuse to do that. I refuse to sell my soul. If I would have sold my soul to a large corporation, and then this attack happened, which I very much doubt this level of Matrix attack would have even happened to me.
Okay. I'm not going to watch any more of this because it's just dribble. You know, if somebody was really going to give him $60 million, you
I
think
really
he would
thought this
fucking
was
turn
going to
that
get
shit
into.
down? Not a chance in your life. Instead, what he did is he had to force women under very cruel conditions to do his bidding and to do the OnlyFans or, you know, the online webcam business, whatever. And who knows what else, you know, that'll come out during the trial. And if he was so brilliant, if he was such a brilliant guy, guys, and he had so, and he just had it going on.
He's a professional.
And he had the answer to all your problems. Why is he under house arrest? Why is he getting charged? Why is he going to go to prison for a shit long time for sex trafficking, for rape, and being part of a criminal organization? Why? Why, if he's so brilliant? Oh, is it because of the Matrix? No, it's not. Because it's because he took shortcuts. He committed crimes in order to make sure that he did what he had to do in order to get the money coming in. And if you are one of his followers, I encourage you to take that money and buy Target stock or buy some other kind of popular stock where you get dividends. Guess what? That's going to pay you tenfold. Every dollar that you give to this guy is going to be money out the window. Unless it's just sheer entertainment value. If you got $50 a month to just piss away just because you want to watch him, well, then that's your business. Anyway, so we'll keep following this trial. In all fairness to Andrew Tate, I don't think he's going to get a fair trial. I really don't. And I say that because you don't get a jury, and if it's the same judge that's been ruling on everything else, tell me he's not already tainted. So he's looking at going to prison for a long time in a place that he fled to avoid prosecution. If you remember that. Not the brightest man on the planet. So this has been our reaction to the official news of Andrew Tate getting charged.
Which was a whole lot of
Judge has
nothing.
about 60 days before they, go forward. And we'll see what happens. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe, follow. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
All right.
All of a sudden, you put in your
They got this clickbait thing. My pronouns are she, her. Why Andrew Tate now identifies as a woman. Oh my God, I can't get into this. I need to cut this off. So I'm just going to finish out these last couple minutes in this round of team deathmatch and today's stream. But this is Andrew Tate, everybody. I like I said, I think there can be some things that kind of make sense to men, because we are always looked towards to be the protectors, the providers. We need to be ready for anything, because in my opinion, we need to be that rock for the family. Moms can be like, the wife can be emotional and all that, like, I know that's stereotypical and I'm sorry for saying it, but like, that's always just been my thing growing up. As a man, I feel like my duty is to protect people around me, people I care about, to do whatever I can to better them. That truly brings me happiness. So you don't need a Bugatti. You don't need $1 million. You don't need the fastest Bugatti in the race cars. However he says it, happiness can be found in a lot of different places in a lot of different ways. So I don't want my child to see that and think that that's what he should need, or that's how he should act in order to attract a partner or anything like that. I don't want him to think that he can control someone in the way that these groups do. A relationship is a partnership, no matter what level it's at. Even if you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, you're still trying to form this union with someone. But it's final thoughts. Like Tate in all actuality is a bad individual. Like, bad isn't a degen. Like your whole claim to fame was convincing these women to come work for you and basically do OnlyFans and content like that and pay you to do it in your space. Like, that's it. So you essentially wanted to be a pimp. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. That's your prerogative, I guess. But this is the other side you got to deal with if that's the path you want to take. Like, if you're going to do that kind of business with someone, I feel like you should be a lot better about it. You shouldn't be controlling that person. It would be, once again, a partnership, because even as an employee at a regular job, they cannot give you that level of disrespect. You're not going to get attacked by your boss with a belt, and if you do, you can get paid. So I do think he's starting to reap what he sows. I do think that, you know, some of the more recent videos and content from Tate himself has kind of seemed more remorseful now that he's out of this custody, I'd say, because in Romania they took him under custody for I think 3 months. Because over there, they're allowed to arrest someone, keep them under custody while they're actually going through the investigation instead of having to have everything together and then proceeding. Apparently over there, they're allowed to, if they have enough evidence, lock you up while they continue the investigation. So he was locked up for several months, and then since he's come out, that's like they said, he converted to Muslim or Islam. He's trying to change and kind of walk back a little bit on some of the things and saying like, well, if I would have known, I would have, you know, not had said the things the way I did say them. Realistically, that just means I got caught. I wish I would have been a little bit smarter about it, so I didn't get caught. But she still would have did the same shit, and we get that. Still makes you a crappy person, in my opinion. So, you know, whatever your thoughts are, please throw them in the comments. I would love to hear what other people have to say about Andrew Tate and some of the craziness that can come out of that dude's mouth. Holy cow. I'm going to come up with some more stuff. Next stream, we'll be getting into some more Andrew Tate red pill. I don't know if it's going to be just Andrew Tate. I'll probably try and sprinkle in some more red pill specific content as well. But until then, I appreciate you, and I hope the best.